Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this video. Today, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm probably not going to do a ton of fancy editing in this video. I'm just going to keep things as raw as possible. I'm just going to talk about the fundamentals of how to boost your testosterone naturally. I'm making this video in 2025, just so you know that it's up to date depending on when you're watching this. There's a lot of information out there on how to do this, and I feel like it's time to sort of just get back to the fundamentals because there's so much information around this subject and so many people are talking about supplements and stuff and lifestyle choices and do this, do that in the gym, eat this, eat that you can get lost. There's such a sea of information around this topic, so I'm just gonna sit here and talk to the camera for a bit, talk to you guys, and let you know what things are effective, what things are probably bullcrap if I get around to it. So here we go. The fundamentals of how to boost your testosterone levels naturally dwindles down to food, fitness, and that's pretty much it. And there's lifestyle decisions also that we'll talk about. I was kind of going for something like a third thing alliterative, but I couldn't really think of anything. I was trying to be clever. But anyway, let's start with food. So when it comes to food, there's a few things that you need to know. First off, in terms of what matters and what doesn't, the number one thing that matters when it comes to your food is your calories. And I know a lot of people, especially I've seen a lot of people comment who follow carnivore diets, and they claim things like they eat a ridiculous amount of food and calories and stuff. And, you know, I'm not going to talk too much about the carnivore diet. I've tried carnivore diets before, and I think they do work pretty good. I think they have their place. But ultimately, no one is an exception when it comes to the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Calories in, calories out. If you need to lose body fat, which by the way will boost your testosterone levels naturally, so if you need to lose body fat, you need to eat fewer calories than your body just uses in a given day. And if you need to pack on lean, dense muscle mass, because, I don't know, maybe you're really skinny, you need to eat more calories than your body needs in a given day. There's no way around this, and again, there's a lot of information out there on nutrition. I've seen people claim some pretty wild things about certain diets. I've tried a lot of diets, and I gotta say, it really does come back to the fundamentals of calories in, calories out. No one gets around this. No one can get around this. So if you're looking to boost your testosterone, you need to define what goal you think it is that you need to achieve, because being muscular and being lean, that's essentially your secret to boosting your testosterone naturally. Because the more muscle mass your body has, that it's essentially mass that you want your body to have, because it's much more metabolically efficient. And testosterone, it interacts a lot more with muscle mass, and it's sort of like this feedback loop. The more lean muscle mass you have, the more testosterone you have. However, the more testosterone you have, the more lean muscle mass you can build. So that's kind of what I mean by it's this positive feedback loop. But in terms of what you can actually do, like what actions and steps can you take to boost your testosterone levels naturally, it's build muscle and get lean. And what I mean by get lean is you want to lose body fat. Body fat is inherently estrogenic in nature. I'm going to coin that term. The more body fat that you hold onto your body, the more your body creates this enzyme that essentially converts estrogen or testosterone into estrogen. And for those of you, like if you're brand new to some of this hormonal stuff, testosterone, that's the chief male hormone, and you want that. Estrogen, it's typically thought of as the chief female hormone. I think my personal opinion on it is estrogen really and truly, it's more of a stress hormone than it is a key female hormone. I would say something like progesterone That's a little bit more indicative of a key female hormone rather than estrogen. But estrogen, like either way, you do not want a lot of estrogen in your body. You need some of it, just like with any hormone, but you do not want an excessive amount of estrogen. And one of the number one ways, one of the number one reasons in general that men have much lower testosterone levels these days is because they're fat. They walk around and, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years go by, and they're just carrying this excess body fat, and estrogen is building up in that fat tissue. And like I mentioned before, the more body fat that you carry, the more your body is prone to make this enzyme that literally converts testosterone into estrogen. So you want to get rid of that body fat. So that's what I mean by get lean. Now, in terms of getting lean and losing body fat, plain and simple, it is a straight up numbers game. And what I mean by numbers is calories. It takes 3,500 calories to, you need to be in a deficit under 3,500 calories to burn 1 pound of body fat. Maybe I didn't word that very well. So let's say, for example, your maintenance calories are 2,500 calories per day. That's how many calories you need just to maintain your weight. Like, you're not going to gain weight and you're not going to lose weight eating 2,500 calories per day. If you reduce your calories by 500, after 1 week, you will lose 1 pound of body fat. Because if you eat 500 calories fewer every day for 7 days, 7 times 500, or negative 500 if you want, that's negative 3,500 calories, which is equivalent to 1 pound of body fat, excuse me. So I guess a better way of saying this is to get rid of 1 pound of body fat, you need to essentially not feed yourself 3,500 calories. I think that's a much better way of putting it than what I mentioned earlier. So that's probably one of the number one things that you must master. Again, I'm talking fundamentals here. You must master that before going on and, well, what food should I eat? Like, should I eat this and avoid this? Those are more advanced nutrition tactics. If you don't have the fundamentals of logging how many calories are in this many ounces of meat, how many calories are in this many ounces of potatoes, how many calories is in an egg, how many calories is in a tablespoon of butter, whatever. You need to master that and really train yourself to be able to understand the numbers in terms of what you're putting into your body. That is so important, and most people don't have that skill, and I would say that's why most people struggle with their weight. What gets measured gets managed. It's a business principle, it's an engineering principle, and it's a life principle in general, really. I mean, when it comes to your finances, it's very similar. What comes in, you also want to measure what goes out. How much do you make? How much do you spend? It's the same thing here with calories. How much do you eat, and how much do you burn? That's what I was looking for. By the way, if you want to figure out about how many calories that you burn, you can just look up any given maintenance calorie calculator on Google. There's a bunch of them. They work pretty good. It'll probably be like plus or minus 100 calories, maybe 200. But most of them will ask you, how old are you? About how tall are you? How much do you weigh? How active are you on a weekly or maybe daily basis? Which is kind of a nice segue for me to go into my next point. I mentioned food and fitness. Those are the big ones that we'll talk about. So in terms of how you can actually get your maintenance calories a little bit higher, is with fitness. Working out 3 or 4 times per week, that's a really good way to ramp up, on average, how many calories you burn in a given day. And over the course of like a week, 2 weeks or so, if you stick to this routine, then you can pretty easily approximate your maintenance calories. And if you eat fewer calories than that, Alright guys, so I apologize in advance. I lost the really good audio. You can kind of see me click on my laptop there in the video if you want to rewind it, if you care at all. But anyway, I profusely apologize for this really bad quality audio, but I hope you stick around because I'm about to share some really good content. That's going to take care of the fat loss. And then in terms of, I mentioned the two keys, get lean and build lean, dense muscle mass. Fitness is also a great way to capitalize on building muscle. In fact, it is the only way that you can build muscle. You need to get stronger and build strength in the gym, and that is going to aid you in building that muscle that you want. So if you nail your diet, if you nail your calories, that's going to take care of the fat loss, because I just told you the recipe for how to lose body fat. You need to eat less than 3,500 calories to burn 1 pound of body fat, which, by the way, you don't just want to go starving yourself. I mean, that's never a really good nutrition strategy. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to eat 1,000 calories fewer than I need to so I can get to my goal real fast. You know, I could lose like 3 pounds in 1 week. That's not a good idea. You're not going to be able to sustain that. You need to think about it in terms of like, what can you realistically stick to? So I recommend eating 500 calories fewer than your maintenance calories. That's going to give you enough food that you're not going to feel like you're just starving yourself, but it's still an aggressive enough calorie deficit that you're going to see results. If you measure your food and you use some kind of calorie tracking app like MyFitnessPal, even ChatGPT these days, you can take pictures of food and upload it to ChatGPT. For any of you who either use it or maybe you pay for premium. You can literally take pictures of food, upload it to ChatGPT, and say, hey, about how many calories are in this? And it'll ballpark it for you. I mean, it might not be perfect, but you know, it'll get you in some kind of range. It's better to try and guess how many calories are in a meal or a food that you eat than to just be like, oh, well, I don't know how many calories are in this burrito. I don't know. Like, I just ordered it from this restaurant, and I don't know how many calories are in it, so I'm just not going to log it. That's not what you want to do. Another useful thing is to stick to foods where you know how many calories are in it. One effective strategy that I think works really well is to eat the same things, or at least very similar meals, over and over and over again. You know, get a rotation of like 5 to 10 meals, your go-to meals, so to speak, and just keep eating those over and over and over again. And maybe, you know, once or twice a week, throw some kind of meal in there that you enjoy. You know, you still want to live your life. You still want to be able to like go and hang out with friends and stuff and family and go to events and whatnot, enjoy yourself. You know, like if you drink beer or alcohol or liquor or whatever, I mean, you still want to be able to incorporate those things into your life to some degree, you know, everything in moderation. I mean, I won't get too deep into like alcohol and how it impacts testosterone. Obviously, you don't want to go out and get absolutely belligerently drunk every weekend, and like you can't expect to improve your testosterone health if you're doing that. But, you know, every weekend, every month or something like that, if you want to go out and enjoy a few drinks with friends, I mean, that's a pretty normal, you know, social thing to do. It might even give you, you know, some sort of dieting relief, or, you know, social interactions are healthy as well. So like psychologically, it's probably going to be better for your overall health than just being like no alcohol, none whatsoever, unless you just don't really drink alcohol, or you know, you feel convicted against it or something. Then, you know, just lean into that and don't worry about this part. So anyway, let me talk a little bit more specifically about fitness. So what I recommended 3 or 4 times per week, with the specific goal. Your specific goal with fitness is to get stronger. And you want to get stronger because getting stronger is how you build lean, dense muscle mass. That is the kind of muscle mass that you want to build and accumulate on your body as much as possible. Not only are you going to look really cool in the gym lifting these big heavy weights, you're gonna build lean, dense muscle mass that is, it's on you to stay for a lot longer than, I'll just compare and contrast the different kinds of muscle mass now. So typically, people are under the impression that if you stop lifting or working out for like a week or two, you're going to lose all of your gains. And to some extent, that is true, but it depends on how you train and it depends on how you built that muscle mass. If you pumped your muscles up with like high volume training or something like that, then yes, you can kind of quickly lose those gains because that's what's referred to as sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. And I'm not going to get really technical with that, but you can essentially think of that as a type of hypertrophy or muscle building that literally just increases the size of muscles that you already have. So you're not building new muscle mass. There are no new muscle fibers being created. You're just increasing the size of them. And that's essentially what pump training or high volume training is. Just to kind of give you some examples, let's say bicep curls. If you wanted to just pump your arms up real good, you do like 4 or 5 sets of like 8 to 12 reps or something like that. You'd probably only rest like a minute or maybe even less, just get like a juicy pump on. Nothing wrong with it, but this is the kind of muscle mass that is commonly associated with, if I stop working out for 2 weeks, I'm going to lose all my gains. However, if you take several months and dedicate your training to lifting heavier and heavier weights every week for several months, you are going to pack on lean, dense muscle mass. So now your body is actually making new fiber tissues because every week when you lift slightly heavier weights, you are forcing your body to adapt to a new stimulus. And for your body to properly adapt to that stimuli, it has to do something new. It has to say, hey, we need more muscle fibers to be able to lift that kind of weight next week. So your body is going to use resources to build up new lean, dense muscle mass. And that kind of muscle is not going anywhere anytime soon. You could probably take several months off from the gym and get back in the gym, and you'll probably be able to lift. You're not going to jump right back into like your PR weights or whatever, but you can hold on to that strength for a very long time because you worked hard and you busted your butt to build that lean, dense muscle mass. So anyway, that is why the specific goal of your training should be to get stronger. It should not be to just pump up your muscles. It shouldn't be to try to burn as many calories as you can. You need to get stronger. So let me tell you how to actually get stronger by lifting weights. So when you go into the gym and you're fresh and you're ready to, destroy your body in the weight room, you want to focus on lifts that recruit a lot of muscle volume. These are referred to as compound lifts, so you can think of them as typical, bench press. I prefer incline bench press, deadlifts, squats. I would consider something like a pull-up, a weighted pull-up, or lat pull-down, something like that. You're recruiting several different muscle groups, even though they're kind of targeted. A shoulder press, that's an important one because here's the thing. As a man, in your upper body, you have a lot of potential to build lean, dense muscle mass. So you want the focus of your training to be in your upper body. You still want to train your legs. I said squats, I said deadlifts, and, Bulgarian split squats. All of those are very important exercises, and you absolutely do want to still train your legs. But you, as a man, you have so much potential to build a lot of strength in your upper body. That is just genetically how we are different from women. So you want to capitalize on that. You want to focus on your shoulders and your upper chest and your upper back, your arms, your triceps, your biceps, all of those good masculine-looking muscle groups. That is where you want to target building strength in. So anyway, when you go into the gym, you want to start off with some kind of compound lift. And you want to do that the very first thing because your body's fresh and you want to lift at your body's potential. Now, a couple caveats to this. First off, you do want to warm up. I usually do like some jumping jacks. I'll jump around a little bit and do some sort of dynamic stretching. I'll do some like jumping squats or something just to get the blood pumping and get my muscles warmed up for my workout. And then before you jump into like a really heavy compound lift, like let's say you're shooting for 225 on the bench press, before you just jump right into that heavy set, you want to do a few warm-up sets. So maybe you'll do like 135 for like 3 or 4 or 5 reps, and then you'll put on a little bit more weight and you'll do 3, 4, 5 reps at, 170. And then you'll want to rest for a longer time between when you do your warm-ups and when you jump into your heavy set. Now, here's something very important about strength training. The longer you rest between your sets, the more you're going to recover between those sets and lift at your potential. Now, there's definitely a place and time for not resting long between your sets. Essentially what I was referring to earlier, pump training, if you will. We'll get to that later on in our workout after we have really used a lot of energy to build strength and lift at our body's potential. That's why you want to do these big, heavy compound lifts at the beginning of your workout. So, going back to my example of bench press, you want to do this first and you want to shoot for like 4 or 5 reps. I call this the adaptation zone because 4 or 5 reps, it's enough reps that you're not going to hurt yourself. If you go for like a 1 rep max over here, there's a higher probability at least that you're going to try that weight and you're not going to succeed and you're going to hurt yourself. And you can imagine how you could hurt yourself trying to do a 1 rep max on the bench press pretty easily. So don't do that. Work in the 4 or 5 rep range. And it's also not so many reps that, you're at 4 or 5 reps, you're stimulating your central nervous system, and it requires a lot of neuromuscular recruitment to be able to knock out those heavy 4 or 5 reps. But week by week, you should be able to pack on more weight onto the barbell of whatever lift that you're doing. So that's a very important point. You do want to rest at least 3 minutes between your sets. And this is very important. When I became certified as a personal trainer, I specifically remember it said in the textbook, there is a huge difference between how much your body recovers between sets, resting 2 minutes versus 3 minutes. So literally set a timer on your phone when you're in the gym working out and rest at least 3 minutes between your sets so that you can continue to work in that 4 or 5 rep range for your big compound lifts. And that is how you build strength. Write everything down. You want to write down, if 225, if you hit that for 5 reps, write it down. Write it down so that next week you can try 230 pounds for 4 or 5 reps. And then the week after that, you hit 235 or something like that. I don't know, but you get the idea of the progression system. It is going to be slow and steady, but this is, again, you're putting in a lot of work to build strength, and the payoff is much greater than pump training because that muscle is on you to stay. Like, take me for example, to make pull-ups or chin-ups hard for myself, I have to strap on anywhere between 1 or 2 plates to myself to make pull-ups difficult for me. I did not get there overnight, but I busted my butt for years to work my way up to those kinds of lifts, and that muscle, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. It would probably take months of me to diet poorly and not work out and train to undo that kind of potential that I have built in my upper back. So that's to just give you some kind of example. And by the way, it is absolutely not outside the scope of your capabilities to be able to work your way up to doing weighted chin-ups. You know, maybe like I started off in college 7 or 8 years ago. I wasn't able to do a single pull-up. I had to start with lat pull-downs. I had to start there to build my upper back. But again, I was simultaneously building strength in the gym while I was losing body fat. That, you know, back around 2018, that's sort of when I started my journey. And that's where I had to start off. I couldn't do a single pull-up. And after years and years of staying consistent in the gym, consistently nailing some kind of nutrition strategy that has worked for me, that I'm able to follow, it pays off. You know, after years, you're able to build your way up to, you know, doing your first pull-up, then your first set of like 8 pull-ups. And then before you know it, you need to strap on weight to yourself to challenge yourself even further. So following a proper progression system, it takes time, but if you follow it, and you're strategic about it, you're gonna build that strength and you're gonna build that lean, dense muscle mass. So these are, what else do I want to talk about with fitness? With fitness, another thing that I recommend is rest at least 1 day between your workouts. So when you strength train, you are training very differently than just going into the gym and lifting weights, getting a pump on or whatever. When you strength train, you recruit so many biological systems in your body to be able to lift heavy weights. You need to rest and recharge to fully recover from that. Your central nervous system cannot handle you hitting 5 workouts per week and you shooting for PRs on deadlifts and squats and bench press and incline press and shoulder press and weighted chin-ups. Your body cannot handle that unless you're doing steroids, which again, the point of this video is to naturally increase your testosterone. It's not to, you know, shoot up testosterone or whatever. So understand that you as a natural lifter, you have to train a little bit differently because your body cannot recover as quickly because, I mean, you're not using anabolics. So as a natural lifter, I recommend rest at least 48 hours between your workouts, or, you know, give or take, rest 1 day between your workouts, work out every other day. That's why I say 3 to 4 workouts per week. So I would say those are really the fundamentals of food and fitness. Notice I didn't say anything about supplements. I didn't say anything about Tongkat Ali or ashwagandha or Fedosia agrestis, and you know, there may be a place for supplements like that, and I do know some people who have incorporated those supplements into their routine and they've gotten pretty good results. But if you nail the fundamentals, food and fitness, if you nail the fundamentals of this, you will increase your testosterone naturally. And everything I said in this video is important, okay? Like, so don't go thinking that, oh, if I just, you know, eat better and I start going to the gym a few times a week, I'm going to make results. Like, no, you need to dive deep. Listen to this video again. You need to dive deep. Go figure out what your maintenance calories are. Go figure out, you know, if you need to build muscle, eat 200 more calories per day than your maintenance calories. If you need to lose body fat, eat 500 calories fewer than your maintenance calories. And pair that on top of lifting weights with the specific goal to get stronger in the gym. Pair those two things together. Over the course of months, you will notice progress, you will feel better, and that's because your testosterone levels are going up naturally. Now, to sort of manage your expectations with this, you know, are you going to double or triple your testosterone levels in a few months? Probably not. If you want to do things naturally, it's going to take more time. I mean, you know, it takes people years to pack on body fat and accumulate body fat and be out of shape and ultimately become in a state where they're unhealthy. That's not something that you're like genetically cursed with. That's something that happens over the course of weeks, months, and years of bad dieting and not exercising enough and not sleeping well enough and, you know, not taking good care of your body. And the same is true with, you know, working towards building your body to a healthier state, which, you know, in our case as men, we want to build and boost our testosterone levels naturally. So, you know, are you going to be able to double them in a matter of a few months? Probably not. But sticking with it and nailing the consistency part of it, that is the most important thing that anyone should focus on. It's not what supplements you should take. It's really not even what specific foods you should eat. I have a whole playlist, by the way, of foods that are good to incorporate into your diet. If you're curious, you can check out that playlist just to kind of give you some ideas of foods that you might want to be eating, because, you know, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. And, you know, it's almost not worth diving super deep into. So check out that playlist if you're interested in what foods to eat specifically. But again, calories are king. Calories are the most important thing in terms of working towards whatever your goal is: lose fat, build muscle. So I think that kind of at least summarizes the two big things, just food and fitness. I really didn't even talk that much about lifestyle stuff, and it looks like I'm almost 30 minutes into this video. I could have talked about sleep. I could have talked about cold showers. I could have talked about getting more sunlight exposure. You know, I have all sorts of tips for all of those things, but I think since I'm 30 minutes into this video, I'm going to have to cut it a little bit short here. So I hope this was helpful. You know, it's a new year. We're a little bit more than a month into the new year of 2025. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in that the beginning of the new year is a good time to sort of reset yourself and define your goals and start working towards them. You know, you were able to enjoy yourself over the holidays and stuff from November and December, and now it's time to get refocused and, you know, work towards crushing your goals. So that's why I'm posting this year. So I hope you take a lot of this advice. I'd encourage you to rewatch it and take notes and write stuff down so that you have an actual game plan to follow this year. And by the way, if you need additional support, I do offer coaching. You know, I'm not the best like sales pitch dude because I'm waiting until the very end of the video, and you know, who knows how many people are actually going to make it all the way through, and I'm just now mentioning I do offer coaching. I offer virtual coaching, and if you want to learn more about how that works, you know, I offer accountability. We'll hop on weekly calls and I'll review your progress, your nutrition, and your fitness, and make sure that you're staying on track. If you think that'd be helpful for you, head on down to the link in the pinned comment below, and you can fill out an application, and, you know, I'll get an email saying that you filled something out. I can reach out to you either through email, or if you decide to leave your phone number, I'll get in touch with you somehow, and we'll set up a Zoom call. We'll chat about how it works, and yeah. So if you think that's something that you would benefit from, and you think that would help you, then feel free to fill out an application, and I'll reach out to you, and we'll connect and chat about how all of that works. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for the support. I hope you subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the video down in the comments. I love chatting with you guys down there, and yeah, it's a great way for us to just kind of connect on a little bit more of a personal level than just me sitting here talking to a camera. I do try to respond to all of them, so feel free to leave your thoughts. I love engaging with you guys, and it kind of gives me sort of a sense of what future content I could make if you guys have questions, or if you make comments down there. It sort of gives me good video ideas, and it helps me identify things that you guys are interested in specifically. So yeah, that's a long-winded way of me saying please comment, because I'll probably chat with you. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.